Well, I think it's an interesting time right now for producers. I think that there's, for me, I'd like to talk to as many as I could because I think there's a real opportunity for producers, particularly to, you know, accelerate the breakup of the model that exists right now. And I think if we all just started, pushing a little more of our leverage or building our leverage sort of with material that we control or with talent we're working with or money we can find, and we could take a little bit of the power back from the distributors and sort of the mass studios, because I think there's a real opportunity with digital distribution and digital marketing to sort of sneak up on people with real financial models. So I have this theory that there are three leverage points in the entertainment business. One is money. If you have money, you can have leverage. The other is distribution, and the other is talent, and that includes material and finding writers and that kind of stuff. My career has primarily been based on talent. I've been good at recognizing either talented people or good pieces of material. And so what I'm trying to do is focus on more leverage for talent, and primarily by getting them to realize the benefit they would have by creating their own relationship with the audience. That the digital technology gives them an opportunity to do that again. If you look at the history of entertainment, that's what it was. If you were a traveling storyteller, you had to convince the people in town to come hear you tell your story. You had to collect their money. You also probably were good at, while you were telling the story, realizing what that particular town or city or church or whatever it was reacting to, and molding your story. And then as technology grew in the 70s, 80s, 90s, where the talent got totally removed from the audience. You're sending your movies out, you're talking to people, and the best they get is a Jay Leno interview. It's not a great relationship. And I think today with social media and the digital ability to have a direct relationship with your audience, and it's happened in all the other businesses. Tiger Woods gets attacked by his wife, and he puts his statement on tigerwoods.com. He doesn't go on Oprah. He doesn't go out on, let's go to, ESPN. He's, nope, tigerwoods.com. Here's what I think, right? Music business, Pearl Jam just releases their own albums. They don't care. They're not sitting home going, I need Sony. They don't need shit. They're, okay, let's do it. And if you want to learn what Pearl Jam's up to, come to pearljam.com. And I think that that's the big change, is nobody in Hollywood's done that yet. And in my opinion, it's because the money is so high to sort of make these movies, right? But we're in a world where today, if the estate of J.R.R. Tolkien, was about to sell the rights, Peter Jackson would have been an idiot to sell them to New Line. He should have gone out, raised the money himself, bought the rights. Everybody wants Peter Jackson to make the movies, and he should do what he wants to do, right? Chris Nolan should have bought the rights to Batman before he made Batman Begins. Or he should have partnered with Warner Brothers and said, okay, we're going to own this together, and I'm going to reinvent it, and whatever. And there's much, much smaller examples of that, which people can afford. Those are obviously big examples for the sake of the cameras. But the point is, the talent today has an opportunity. The other thing that I'm doing, to your question about what am I chiseling at, is the money. Right now, the studios have all the big money. And I am out there sort of on a regular basis trying to convince people with money, whether it's institutions, rich individuals, banks, these things, that the pendulum has swung back because of this direct relationship with the audience. It's swung back to where talent and actual good ideas are worth investing again. You don't need to give all the money to the distributors because they're actually just doing the same movie over and over and over again. And you're going to find these little things. And so those are my two little areas of chiseling. I'm trying to convince talent to spend more energy on going directly to the audience, and I'm trying to convince money that it's a better time now to invest in actual content rather than with distributors. What I'd say is we're in that weird moment where the old and the new are sort of even. And what I would say is that very quickly the new is going to find its business models, whether it's new companies like Netflix sort of doing very similar things to what the old did, but doing it on a different level. But I think you're also going to find new voices. A lot of these YouTube channels are becoming very popular. I mean, there's some YouTube guys who get more viewers than, a low-rated show on National Geographic Channel, And so what I told them is I said, what you really got to do is become a marketer. I said, you got to sit down and figure out, okay, somewhere in your mind as a producer, you thought there was a way that the audience would like your film. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you didn't just do it to the girl. I'm sorry, I can't say that. You didn't do it to, sleep with the actress, right? You did it because you thought audiences would like it. Well, that's marketing, right? So now go back to that and say, why did I think audiences like it? What's different about it? If it's that it's similar to movies that I like and there haven't been a lot, is it that we got this young actor who's actually really funny? Is it that the story's totally unique? I don't know, right? But my point is, somewhere you did this math already because you wouldn't have put your time and energy and friendships and whatever else on the line for this movie, right? If you didn't believe people would like it. So if you believe people would like it, take an extra hour now, sit around in a lone room, turn everything off, get a pad and say, okay, who's going to like this movie? Good Will Hunting grew over time, right? American Pie, people tell me, you're crazy. You're going to do an R-rated sex comedy. No one's going to like that. Bang, bang, bang. Just, this is funny as shit. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. I mean, if I could get either of those two movies back now, I wouldn't sell them to a studio. If they came to my house and were like, just put a bucket of money in my living room, I'd be like, no way. I'm doing this myself, right? That didn't exist when we did those movies, right? Today it exists. But what it requires is a little bit of a long-term belief in yourself. What it also requires is a deep belief that you can pick, that you should be allowed to pick. And that's what all these big studios have, is they convince every jackass on earth, I'm a genius. I should be allowed to pick what movies everybody goes to see. Really? Why? Because you were a studio executive for 12 years? Because you're an agent, right? Because you know Tom Cruise? Like, what are you talking about? What makes you more qualified, right? But that is a hard thing to get people to do. Sit down and say, I believe this is something that's good. And to me, that's where big producers, you ask Scott Rudin, Joel Silver, Jerry Bruckheimer, Brian Grazer, any of those guys, right? That's the one skill. You meet with them, you know immediately, this dude is 100% sure. Even though they got just as many failures, right? They're 100% sure on the things they believe in. And that's what Michael Jordan said. He said, I've hit a bunch of game-winning shots, but I've also missed a shitload of game-winning shots. And you got to get that confidence. And that's what producers, in my opinion, the world has given us the opportunity to prove that we should be picking. Not these jackasses who are doing distribution or these other guys who own massive television networks. I mean, Rupert Murdoch's 90 years old and he's a billionaire. What the f*** does he know about any of these people, right? And so he's just hiring people and all they're doing is trying to keep their job, right? So that's the big thing I try to say to people is now is your moment. If you think you're somebody, you should have the right to decide what all of you guys in the room and your girlfriends and your brothers and your friends want to do on Friday night, you have the chance to do it. Go do it. Pick it. Put it up on YouTube. Tell them about it and see if they pick it. And if they don't, they don't. And you're broke and you got to go get a job at Starbucks. But you'd rather at least get a job at Starbucks knowing you tried and you did it your way instead of, the old business. Again, I benefited from it. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't benefit from the old system. But the point was, in that system, producers' number one job was to sell to the buyers. The only customers a producer had was the buyer. Right? So what are the 6 studios, the 5 rich assholes decide to spend money this year in Hollywood, the other people, okay, I got to figure out what these 15 people want to do, right? Okay, so I can do that. I'm not an idiot. I can sell stuff. We'll go figure it out. But that's not why I did it. I did it because I'm from a suburban town in Maryland. My parents got divorced. I sat in a movie theater for 52 hours straight just trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life and could escape and go into these other places. I like Star Wars and Die Hard and Ghostbusters and shit. So I want to do that. I want to make movies for these people. I don't give a shit what the studio heads think. I believe that I have an idea of what those people like, right? So when I look at American Pie and guys trying to get laid and helping each other, I like that movie. I'm like, yeah, I'd go see that movie. Let's go make that movie. Matt and Ben come up, they're like, hey, I got this story about a kid who's a math genius. I read it, I'm like, I love this movie. I would love to see this movie get made. And a bunch of the others. Waiting, I worked in 700 restaurants over my life, It's a smaller success, but we made a television pilot. We've made 3 sequels. We've done, and nobody ever thinks of it. It's a really funny movie, the first one. Point is that the whole process, I've been able, and this is what I try to encourage people, to look at it and think about it. And it was Joe Roth who actually crystallized it for me. He was old studio head, an old guy. Now he's a big producer. And I really like Joe. And Joe said that you made it in Hollywood when all you do is think about what the humans are going to do. Right? And if that's how you spend your time, then you made it. He said, if you spend your time thinking about what Joe Roth's going to do, spend your time thinking about what Alan Horn or Jeff Rabinoff or Rupert Murdoch or some of the Redstone's going to do, you're still not there. You can get fired in 5 minutes, right? But if you're sitting home going, what am I going to do to get 50 million people to buy this DVD? You're good. And if you actually turn out to be good at that, you'll have a job the rest of your life. And that's where I think producers are in this unique moment right now, because we can actually do that. But we have to take the power. The people who are rich and powerful, they're not going to give you the power. You got to take it. You got to go out and say, you know what, I'm going to market this myself. You're a jackass, right? And I'm not going to spend $50 million buying billboards for a movie that 90% of people drive by the billboard are never going to go see the movie, right? I'm going to spend $5,000 on the Yahoo movie section, right? And I'm going to tell them why I made the movie, but I'm going to do it for a whole 6 weeks. And I'm going to make the movie available for 6 weeks. I don't care what happens on the first Friday. What I care about is after 6 weeks, what happened, right? And there's all those things that will fundamentally change the business if people start doing it, right? And so that's why I come to things like this, and I'm a big fan of it. And I actually think producers are uniquely positioned because talent, to some extent, aren't really businessmen. There's a few talent that are real businessmen. You see them, they're rich as hell because they're actually talented and businessmen. Well, they're just lucky, right? George Lucas just made $2 billion, right? He also, I happen to like all the movies that he made, right? So, okay, the guy gets his money. I'm happy for him, right? LeBron James better than everybody else. So just accept that's the way it is, right? But there's a whole business that needs all these other people, right? LeBron needs teammates. Everybody needs teammates. We all need other movies. If you got a channel, you need more. Everyone's not going to be George, right? But all of those people, right, need a little help. And that's what producers do. We believe early, right? And we help you get through the process, and we take the ride all the way through. So you got to be there at the marketing. You got to be there. And that's why I really think producers have a real shot to jump in now. And if you start to prove that you can actually market it, if you start to prove that you can actually pick well, the money will come, right? These other guys who are trying to build distribution models start calling you saying, hey, why don't you do your shit for us, right? And you can decide if you want to do that or not. And the example that I use to try to give this theory some credence is cable television. You know, cable television's out there, nobody's doing a damn thing, right? Ted Turner wakes up, talk about a confident dude. He's like, hell yeah, I'm going to start CNN, I'm going to start TNT, I'm going to turn TBS, which is a local station in Atlanta, into a national station. I'm going to start showing everybody Atlanta Brave games like anyone gives a shit. But he's like, hey, I got it. I'm going to show it to you, right? So, but the point is to turn it into a big business, right? So then he gets a choice. He can sell out, which he did. He sells to Time Warner. Because once the big companies realize, they go, okay. And that's why it's such a great opportunity for producers, because they'll wait. All the big companies with the money, they're not trying to be innovators. They don't give a shit. They're just going to wait and see what happens. You watch Netflix, if it survives at all, will just get bought by somebody and be the new version of CBS inside Viacom, right? They don't care. They're just like, okay, you got audience over there. You can make TV shows. Great. Here, right? Maybe they'll change the name CBS. Hell, maybe they'll change CBS and name Netflix. And you'll just watch that on your TV. But they don't care. They're just going to look at it and go, okay, that worked, right? And so the other version is Sumner Redstone. Comes out with all MTV and all his shit and whatever it is. And he's like, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to buy CBS. I'm not going to sell out. So Sumner's doing his thing. But the same thing. Sumner's sitting in his house going, I can pick as well as these guys. This is crazy, right? I'm going to go start a cable channel. I can make money. I know how to sell ads. I know how to do stuff. Bang, right? Well, I don't think there's any difference between Matt and Ben sitting in the room going, you know what? We got this great story. I think people will watch it. Let's go find the money. Let's make it and let's put it out there. And now we have the Matt and Ben channel, right? Yeah. I guarantee you, everybody like Little Honey, come back and watch the next movie. If they like it enough, they might even come back and watch the third movie, even if the second one was dog shit. And that's the thing that I think is changing right now, is if we start to embrace the fact that we are actually making these decisions. The studios are waiting for producers to come to them and say, here's a movie I think you should make. So if you look at it from that point of view, every studio is trusting the producers to pick first anyway. But we're stupid, and we're not taking advantage of that. And so we're sitting out there, right, going, okay, well, now I'm just going to bring it up to the king and see what happens. You know, the king's lazy as hell because he knows you're down there trying to find everything and do whatever. So the first time he looks at it, goes, wait a minute. Why didn't Chris bring me that project? I made what? Wait a minute. He's making a shitload of money. He's got all these people over here. I don't understand what happened. Well, it's because I didn't have to this time, right? It's not the easiest thing in the world to work with you, right? You take half my money. Right? Like the point is, why? There's no incentive for me to do it, except in the old world, that was the only way to do it. So that's my big point to producers.
Wow, man, we can put you on stage. we can put you on stage. What's it like coming back as a return?
I came early on as an attendee in my career. I'm a fan of the PGA.